And you can watch it live on YouTube and on Facebook Live as well. And our topic today, vetting or petting. Vetting or petting. Folks, are we vetting our ministers or are we petting them? Let us all gather and make truth good. Now, most of us have been following the ministerial vetting for good reason. Is the nominee right for the position? Is the nominee right for the position? Now, particularly in this era of we must get it right, in this era of we cannot fail, there's a lot of apprehension. Folks, because we have a tradition in this country where every government leaves the country in a worse state than they found it. Every government somehow manages to leave the country in a worse state than they found it. The very things they complained about, the very thing that we build our hopes in them, by the time they leave, there are more people unemployed, taxes are higher, cost of living is higher, fuel costs are higher, energy costs are higher, every time, each time. And it's almost a constant phenomenon. So here we are, folks, with all the indices pointing south and really south. If His Excellency John Mahama continues this same trajectory or this same tradition, then I say not even birds will survive. If we continue the same trajectory, the levels of unemployment, the levels of debt that we are in, the infrastructure deficit, if we go down this route, not even birds will survive. So yes, we are panicking. We want to see that right people are put in charge. And the cause of this nation heading the right direction. I guess maybe that's our role as citizens. Folks, but before I continue, fortunately or unfortunately, the president, John Mahama, is much, much more tolerant than the former president, Nana Addo. Now, I remember we did a show once, where I said that now that we are all quiet under Nana Addo's regime, should JM come back to power, will we find our voices? And it looks like that's the case. Suddenly, we are hearing voices. People are speaking more freely without fear, which means those being appointed will be scrutinized by us even more. So here we are, folks. The leader of all, moral police general himself. He has to account to us how he's able to rent at Airport Hills on his salary. Well, we don't know his wife's salary yet, and that could just clear the air. And I'm hoping that those information will be laid bare and all the apprehension will go. But folks, unless their landlord is very charitable, you're looking at an average $4,000 a month in that enclave. $4,000 a month, in excess of $60,000 a month, or the $15,000 salary. We are hoping that all information will be put out there. Charitable landlord, wife's solid, income, and we clear the air. Because somehow, I am also of the view that getting people to be accountable for things that they should otherwise have gone to the state but gone to them should be encouraged. But folks, here we are, right? Sitting in all apprehension, hoping to get the best man or woman put in the right position. And then they come and sit down. And within 10 minutes, that's it. 10 minutes. That's it. What's your name? Where were you born? What's your father's name? Oh, Allah bless you. I know that God talked to JM. That's why he gave you this position. And I've known you for ages. And so I have no qualms that you'll be good at this job. Take your file and go. You hear from us. Look, I'm telling you now, those people doing this 10 minutes vetting, I am sure if I were to go to their house today and to even offer to be a gate man, just a gate man, they will spend a bit more time trying to know who I am, the substance, if I'll be able to open the gate quick enough, close it so that armed robbers don't come to that. They would want to know. It's going to be a gate man. So, as much more as sensitive positions of state, which will transcend beyond NDC and MPP, every citizen of this state is hoping that this ministry and whatever it is that it has to do has to somehow look after me. And the guys who pretending it comes to sit down and Allah bless you, God bless you, you're a good guy, great guy, pack your bags and go. That's a disservice. That's a disservice. We are here to see what this person is made of. We are here to see his commitment. Indeed, we are here to see his previous utterances as it's compared to his utterances now. Is he a consistent person? But he packs his files and he goes. He's come with his chiefs, his whole entourage. They are all excited and they go. Now, I'm saying, can we think outside of the box? Can we find a remedy to solve this? Because it is as though whoever is nominated by the president, 99.999%, you will sail through. The 0.00001 is where your appointment is delayed, but eventually you sail through. And then we are the same people who will sit back and say, Minister A is not performing, Minister B is not performing, and yet we pass them through. So how do we solve this problem, folks? How do we solve this problem? Now, this is just a wild card, and this is really my opinion. Let's see what you think about it. Thankfully, we have the constitutional review again looming in the background. I am saying, let's keep the vetting committee as it is. We have their chairman, we have all the colleagues there vetting. However, I believe that they are eminent people in this country, very powerful, eminent, forthright people in this country. Now, I'm going to throw some names out, but just for example, just throwing some names out, but just as example, just to get where I'm coming from. I am saying while this interview is going on, and they are firing questions to the candidate, can we ask some prominent persons, let's say Tobe Afede, let's say Nana Kwabena Ketia, let's say the Otumfo, let's say Justice Emil Short. I'm just leaving it here. But you can add on to the names. People of those caliber, people you can literally walk up to and say, take 10,000 CDs and pass me. Now they would listen to the vetting, and their mandate will be two mandates. Number one, was the candidate asked the right questions? Number two, did the candidate perform well as into knowledge of the industry that they are, the ministry that they are about to head, their commitment towards the ministry, and maybe your past and your future utterances, are they the same? Your past and present utterances, are they the same? You see, folks, because if this happens, and I am going to an interview where I know it's not my cronies who are going to give me the nod. My cronies are not the ones going to give me the nod. And surely I can't go to the Otumfuo and say, Otumfuo, Adaroma, I have 10,000 cities. Can you take it and pass me? It means I must be forthwith and forthcoming. Can you imagine going to Togbe Afede with 5,000 in an envelope to say that, Togbe, please, I'm going for a ministerial appointment. Can you take this and pass me? It won't happen. So you would find out that even people from the same party where you come from, even if they don't ask you questions to catch you out, they will ask you questions to bring out the best in you. They will ask you questions to bring you out the best in you. And surely you can't go and sit there for 10 minutes, walk away, and then go back to these eminent guys and say, I did a 10 minutes interview to the Minister of Greater Accra. So what do you think? Surely you'll be written off. Now, again, this would also give the president some breathing space. Because sometimes he's so much under pressure. Give the position to Ansah Kwao. Give the position to Ansah Kwao, And then he says, okay, my hands are tied. Ansah Kwao, go and take the position. But in that case, Ansah Kwao, I've given you the position, but I am not the one to certify whether you're good or not. There are big nationalists, big citizens, big patriots who are listening, who would affirm you. Folks, I think if we can think of something like that, maybe this caricature thing would go down. Maybe the postures of people who are coming for the interview, the posture will be more measured. But whereas you know that what I'm doing here is a formality, I've already gotten the post, is a rubber stamp, then that's it. So that maybe it will come a time where two people will be nominated and vetted for the same position. Yes, two people, maybe three people would come in for vetting for the same position. And you would have to up your game, think, innovate. What new do you bring on board? If we don't hire you, what do we lose? What do we lose if we don't hire you? Folks, I'm sure we will be shocked at what we will get from people. And I think the one of the things that will benefit the nation the most is when you are in a position and you say it's black, and then when you come to power and you say it's white, they would stop. Because if those things are brought out during vetting, maybe the big guns will rule you out as you being somebody who's not consistent. So you may realize that even decorum would start growing in politics, where people will mount a stage and think, hold on, if I go and say A, one day I may be questioned on it. And so if I am saying A, then I must have my backing and I must have my facts, so that when I am called one day and given the opportunity to serve, and they ask that, hey, you said Amma was corrupt. How did you know? You have your papers, your evidence, everything to say these are the basis why I said Amma was corrupt, and not just for political expediency. So it's one of those things I thought, well, it's not a law now, but don't we make our own laws? Is it something that we can think about? Because you see, one of the things killing our politics is competition. And I think this would eliminate so much of that. You come there, the president has given you the opportunity. It is up to you to prove to Ghanaians and to these eminent guys who will not be in the room but be monitoring your vetting. Be absolutely monitoring your vetting. Maybe we can even give them 3 or 5 or 6 questions that they would want you to answer comprehensively. What do we lose if we don't hire you? What do you bring on board? What is the best thing about the ministry you're heading? And after you've named the best thing, how can you make it better? That is the best. How can you improve on that best? And then we sit back and think, wow, this is our man. This is what he's bringing. This is what we can hold him to. Now, Allah bless you. Oh, as for you, Allah bless you. Oh, you are a good guy. Oh, well, congratulations. 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 Ironically, when you become a chief, they wish you condolences. Oh, yes, when you become a chief, they wish you condolences because you are in trouble. But in ministerial position, they win you congratulations because it's a celebratory post. We must end that. So, folks, before I get to the phones, let me just recap. I'm saying that now, that culture of fear and stuff has now been broken away. JM, definitely more tolerant. And so now there's voices from all over. All the voices that went mute are now coming back up. Which means those of you who are being given opportunity, there are a lot more voices on your case. And one day I will do some sort of a comparison so that you realize what I'm talking about, but not on the show. Now, all these voices are coming, which means you're being scrutinized. Then we have the element of trying to vet. Vetting means we're trying to get the right person for the position. But sometimes what's going on? Battle of egos, friendship, camaraderie, just pass through. After the brouhaha the last time, within 30 minutes, they had vetted about 7 ministers. The minister in charge of climate change. Climate change comes there and within 10 minutes is gone. Climate change in this era, you should be there for 3 days. 3 days. What are your plans? What are your plans? And your job is so difficult because you are linked to agric, you are linked to mining, you are linked to manufacturing. Jesus Christ. And you're there for 10 minutes and you go, I don't even know what he's made of or what he brings on board with regards to climate change. So I'm saying that if maybe we have a panel of eminent people, big eminent people, and without their permission, I just threw some names about just to give us an idea. And I know there are many more names. Maybe we can have 13 of such people, 13, sat in a room monitoring the vetting. And they are the ones who would decide that were the right questions asked, and did the nominee answer them correctly? Is the nominee constant? Has he been held that in opposition when he was vying for power and he was calling people corrupt? When he's asked, he can actually bring the corrupt paper details or evidence. When he says white, is it still white or now is he going to change it to black? People of substance. And I'm saying maybe it could remedy the vetting process and we could get our people with merit. Now, let me hear what you have to say on this. I'm sure you have a lot to say. And it's 0302 216 541. 0302 216 541. Are we vetting our ministers or are we petting our ministers? I'm sure the producers will put the numbers through now and we will be talking. 0302-216-541. It's just a wild card I'm throwing out there to see that how do we remedy this vetting saga so that it's not become a crony affairs. And I'm saying that if I went to one of these houses to be a gate man, to be a house help, my responsibilities will be far less than a minister of state. But they will probably question me much, much more than they do for that. So let's look at that. It's 0302-216-541. Let me wait for the calls to come in. Nana Kwesi is in Hacho. Nana Kwesi, let me hear you.
Yeah, good evening, Nana.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm very well.
Okay. So I'm one of the people who think this whole vetting thing is very useless, and it's legally causing financial loss to the state. Because when you see these people, when they go, so they don't go for free, right? They get some allowances here and there. And I think that is a big financial loss to the state. This conversation that we are having tonight, it didn't start to, we've been talking about this, but when you say, they will tell you that the Constitution says, and sometimes I wonder, the Constitution, was it made for us or we were made for the Constitution? And can in the more, the sensible thing is while we grow, things changes for the better. However, as for we, so if a president is appointing people who is just going to sit in front of a group of people, because this same group of people have crafted a constitution that says this, and they will just ask this person questions for mere formalities because it has to be done. And then, regardless of how the outcome is, the person still end up at the position. Then what is the essence of vetting these people? Right.
So I mean, the remedy I am putting out, and it's really just a wild card. I mean, what do you think?
Yes. So just like you said, the constitution has to be amended so that we get professionals. If the professionals who are versed in the kind of field that these people are appointed to, especially people who are in the private, who own their businesses, not in the public sector or outside, like a private person. Because those people, they are different. No? And I see, if I want to know the truth of a situation, let's say like the energy sector like this, I don't listen to politicians. Because as for them, they'll come and say that one is condemning, one is defending. So you don't even know who is telling the truth. But you listen to people who are in the industry, who are not affiliated to government, and they are telling you a whole different story. They are telling you the truth. If it's good, they'll tell you it's good. If it's bad, they'll tell you it's bad. So, like, the remedy you are proposing, I'm in for it. But these very people, you see, who are we talking about? If you are talking about amending the constitution, who is going to amend it? It's these same very people. And will they? Nana, will they? So, you see the problem. We have an issue, okay? We want remedies. Now, we are proposing that this is the way we should go. However, the person who is the problem is the same person we are going to say that, look, it's your responsibility to do this. And this conversation didn't start today. It didn't start today. So we get to the point where we have people who will not come into some of these committees and be doing yeah, and you are fine, and are you serious? Just like you said, your ministry is connected to farming, mining, and you go and sit there for how many minutes? Are you joking? So, Nana, you see, it's like the police investigating themselves. Okay, we've taken somebody to the police, and they say check that if this person can man this office, and you've appointed same few police people to go and sit there and they know themselves. They always say we are colleagues and we are there. So what are they doing over there? From mere formality, not necessarily to really for us to get the benefit of vetting them, to really ascertain if they qualify. They really qualify. Not necessarily for that, but for the talking. All of these people, they will be approved. Let's see if any of them will be approved. So, Nana, I agree with you. The constitution must be amended, but as to whether these 12 parliamentarians will see the sense in what we are saying and do as we are saying, I don't want to. We are here to see, or else you legally be continue causing financial loss to the state. Till.
Nana, let me talk to Emmanuel in Ashalibuchi. Thank you for the call. Emmanuel in Ashalibuchi.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
This is Emmanuel Michio.
Let me hear you, my brother.
Yeah. Good evening. Good evening to your listeners as well.
Great.
Observing the vetting was just like I was just in it as if the nominees were suspects before the committee, because the kind of question that they were asking them, I was just imagining or thinking what is going on. So I was thinking that the chairman for the committee should have stopped all those questions. And I think the Constitution too, I don't know how, whether the Constitution allowed these questions to be asked. So, my view on this one is that anytime this thing, or anytime they are vetting the nominees, the chairperson shouldn't allow the questionnaires, people who are asking the questions, to be asking unnecessary questions. Because some of the questions is not in relation with the ministry that the nominees are going to help. It's just some other questions, personal questions. So I think the committee or they should re-amend all these things so that the next time, because all this one is just like a waste of time.
Emmanuel, thank you very much. But I'm also from the school of thought that the character of the nominee may not necessarily be related to the ministry they are going, but we must know their character. Are they truthful? Are they principled? We must also know. But Abu Muhammad is in Japan. Abu, let me hear you.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, my brother.
For instance, like the first minister, they define force people who are hardcore force people. You ask to question him. He's thinking. Yesterday, I listened to him on Sportlink, and he was saying he was asked less questions because he's not much in sports, so maybe he did the investigation and they realized there's not a lot of questions to ask. But at the end of the day, Mr. Nato has a lot of questions. It is about how you think, express yourself, how you're going to handle the thing. The first minister like this, you bring people from the military and road minister or transport, you bring the truck drivers and military, do that thing. Even the Bible and the Quran now, people are taking them on. How much more the Constitution? So if it's not helping us, obviously it must be changed. It was done to help us. So if we realize it does not correspond with the demand of the day, definitely something must be done about it. So I agree. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Baba Ahmed is on the line. Baba, hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, Baba.
I want to suggest that changing the constitution per se will not be the solution to the problem. If there will be a change at all, it should be that aspect of the constitution that makes us vote on the 7th of December and then 7th of January we inaugurate the new president. It should be shifted backwards. Now, when it's shifted backwards, there will be ample time for national security to be able to vet the background of all appointees.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, they say, I didn't say it, they say they are the masters of their own rules. So, being masters of their own rules, what stops them from engaging people who are technically qualified in the various ministries that people who are appointed will come in and then assist them either directly by asking the nominees those questions or giving the questions to the members of parliament, because by the constitution they said the president shall appoint a minister and then he will be vetted by parliament. And as for parliament, if today, me, Baba Ahmed, I'm called to parliament and then I go in. The moment I go in, they treat me as somebody who is a parliamentarian, not as an elected parliamentarian, but as an invitee of parliament. Right? So at that point, they'll be able to get the true state of who that person is going to, that person is. As for his background checks, it has already been done, submitted to them, and then if they have any scrutiny to do about that background check, then they, the parliamentarians, can begin to ask the questions. But thinking that we have to change the constitution, as for the constitution there, it is perfect too. It is that those who are applying the constitution are rather applying it using the loopholes that is embedded in it, that are always trying to find their way out. Otherwise, I don't think that we necessarily have to change the constitution, especially that aspect of government appointees being vetted by parliament, etc., etc. So that's one there. I don't think that is that should be the situation.
Baba, thank you very much. Let me speak to Chidiak in South Lab. Hello, Chidiak.
Good evening.
What school of thought do you belong to? Stay as it is, or, as I'm saying, find some superior Ghanaians who would decide the outcome of the minister?
First of all, I have a problem with your intro. That all parties are the same. We get the same value. I disagree with that.
Why did I say that?
The John Mahama government that has passed.
Oh, no, I haven't said that.
Government who came to lead this nation.
Chidiak, I haven't said that.
So how did you introduce? Because you say we are voting and bringing new government, we are getting the same value. I disagree with that.
No, I didn't say we are getting the same value. I am
saying so what did you say, please?
I said by the time every government leaves, the state is worse than what they came in, i.e. prices go higher, unemployment is higher, and that is a constant. I am not saying that.
Fine.
I'm saying that every time a government comes in, by the time they leave, the situation is worse than when they came in.
Fine. But yes. I disagree with you. Because
How can you disagree with me? It's a fact.
With the past Mahama government, what they left behind for the Nana Akufo-Addo to take over, suppose they build what John Mahama built, Ghana would have been far ahead of what it is today.
So you are saying exactly what I'm saying.
You even said that today Mahama is in power, people can talk. It's a forward march. Okay. Eminent people to come and try people. In the first place, the back stock are the president. Anything that goes wrong, it is him they will call. So talk is cheap. You can bring people to come and talk, say everything. But when it gets to the field, delivery, negative.
No, Chidiak, I don't think you're monitoring what I was saying. I don't think you're monitoring what I'm saying. By all means, once somebody goes to an interview, right?
Yes.
You just want to listen to my performance at the interview to see whether I did right or I did wrong. Am I lying?
Yeah.
Now, at the interview, after the interview, yes, I may be good or I'll be bad. But at least you're only short as to whether if me, Nana Ansah Kwao, let's say you opened the radio station and I was coming for an interview. You would want to know if Nana Ansah Kwao would be good for this radio program. So you question me on it. But if I just come and say, oh, this guy, I know him, how do you know whether I was good or bad?
Okay.
And that's the scenario we have now.
Okay.
So I'm saying that in order for... Yes.
On that grounds, I will agree with you. Okay, that is why they have introduced the review committee of the Constitution. So we must all go there and help them so that all these shortfalls that we are seeing today, they address it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chidiak. Shem is in Pram. Hello, Shem.
Hello, Nana.
Yes, boss. Greetings to Asatwa.
Okay, I'll tell her.
Sure.
You remember last week, we were, I think, 3 out of the 4 callers, first 4 callers, 3 of us made comments about the Parliament House. And we all had almost the same views, but we carried it differently. Now, the issue is that what I said last week still repeats itself to this week. Why do you allow your chiefs and your whole people to come and sit behind you in any interview. Who goes to an interview with his whole family and his whole village people? That's number one. Number two, the eminent people sitting on the board, it's a welcome idea. But that is the case where we are still opening up our system because now everybody has a price. So maybe they won't be able to afford a 5,000 for maybe a prominent person, but maybe they'll be able to afford a certain big contract for that person. What I would also add to what you're saying is, for me, for instance, when it comes to, let's say, finance, I don't know how we can interview the finance minister without somebody's intake like Professor Bokman. He is a senior lecturer of economics in the University of Lagos. There are other prominent people of that sort. Why don't we add them to some of these committees? Why don't we find a way? We should find a way to use these technocrats because sometimes when they talk, they bring out the real issues. They are not being partisan, at least to what I know. They speak to it. Say, economy, ebubu. So they put a question to the finance minister. Charlie, what are we doing concerning this? The way you answer will let me know whether you have the idea which is on paper will be right or on paper is even wrong. Therefore, I would be able to dictate whether you'll be able to do the good job or not. When it comes to that Greek ministry, we should bring people who are well vested, right? In addition to these MPs who would obviously do pass their friends and say that I know you and I will not let you do the job and all that. We should also include some of these people. And lastly, when it comes to this, our MPs behaving as if when they are operating their private jobs, they will let some of us come and do interviews the way they are doing it before seeing them. The fourth caller last week made a submission. I've been saying that, but last week I didn't repeat it. Maybe it's high time we put independent candidates in the Parliament House. Let us put more independent candidates in the Parliament House than NPP and NDC, and then they will become minority and majority, and then we will see what will happen in the after all. The Constitution gives credence for that. So let us see that scenario also happen. Maybe we will see the way for it. But Parliament House, as it stands, they are joking. So we should change them.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Alimo, let me hear you. What's your thought?
Good evening.
Good evening, my brother.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yes.
Good evening to your cherished listeners. Like you said, I'm Alimo point for to answer your question directly, I think our MPs, for that particular, yes, the ministers are taking the issues to be like, rob my bag, I rob your bag. I'm saying this because you can imagine a whole regional minister coming for vetting and not a single question was posed to him or so correct. And the excuse was that there was an earlier communication to the panel that definitely that she's a widow and that man has said this. Can you imagine? So what are we doing? If I like you said, the whole team has been likened to a serious job recruitment interview where the best is seen to be seen in you. You don't just come and sit down and then Bobby Cronin asks you questions that are pertaining to your private lives and what they know about you and all that. Then that's all. No. And surprisingly, some also come and then when they ask them about what they bring on board, they'll tell you boldly. I think that is a point that they are yet to get to the ministry, and when they get the ministry, then they see what's up. What kind of joke is this? We are being just taken for granted. People must be serious at least for once when they being vetted for appointment as a minister. And in fact, if there's a need for a review of, in fact, the whole system as a review, I think I go for that. Otherwise, you are being taken for granted, and it's more of a joke. Okay, that's my if you ask.
Thank you very much. And I have Eddie at Makati Hill. Hello, Eddie.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Eddie, let me hear you.
Dana,
Yes,
quite frankly, I think this vetting process system is a waste of time. It doesn't serve any useful purpose. I think when we had the British system where the president will surround himself with people he wants to work with, at the end of the day, the buck stops with him, and the public will have to make a determination as to whether it's been successful at the end of the term. This is grandstanding, political scope settling. It's a lot of waste of time, nonsense, and quite frankly, waste of space. Okay, that's my contribution to your program.
I hear you. I hear you. And Edmond is on the line. Hello, Edmond.
Yeah, Nana, good evening.
Good evening, Edmund.
Edmund here.
Yes.
This is the
let me
first
hear
time I'm
you.
calling into the program.
Great.
And I would love to make my contribution.
But it's not the first time of you listening.
No, I've always listened.
Oh, great.
I've always
Let me hear you.
Yeah.
Let me hear you.
Good. So, Nana, the whole thing is just looking more like you rub my back and then I rub your back thing.
Mm-hmm.
The nation is in serious crisis. And there are a lot of things that we need to fix. I stay in Dowenya where I have to stay probably 2 hours, 1.5 hours to work. And I have to wake up around 3 a.m. and then get ready before getting to work. There are other serious challenges that we have as a country. And so for a minister designate to go and sit down, and then we are spending 10 minutes and bringing all sort of excuses that the person is not vested in the area, so we don't have to ask questions and other things. I don't think that we are doing the country any good at all. Because there are serious challenges that we need to face in the country. And so for me, I agree with you that yes, we need to set it up like a job interview where serious questions have to be asked for you to know what the person is bringing on board to solve the challenges that we have in that industry and to make the whole thing a better place for all of us. And again, I will agree with you that we need to take serious measures involving the eminent people that you mentioned, setting up a committee to delve into this properly. Because that is the only way that we can get the best out of them. And if possible, we need not to suggest just one person for a position or a ministry. We need to suggest 2 or 3 people that they go for the vetting and then the best candidate is picked to do the job for us. If we don't go that tangent, I think that we will continue to be where we are. But if we want to develop as a nation, moving forward to compete with other people, I think that the right thing must be done. And the way you have suggested it is the best way to go. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I have Kakito in Teshin. Hello, Kakito.
Yes, sir, Nana.
Yes, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you very much for always giving the ordinary people this platform to also express or shape the direction of this country.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with almost all the callers on the issue of why do chiefs follow a nominee to a vetting or somebody seeking for a job. I don't understand.
I guess at that level, they are also looking at your credibility. And therefore, if you go for a vetting, and let's say the Mampohema is sitting behind you, it is then believed that you have held yourself well within the community for such a person to come and sit beside you. So I think at that level, the number of people behind you or the quality of people behind you shows how you have carried yourself in maybe public office. I'm just saying.
Okay. I think that they should relook at that aspect where a nominee goes to vetting, then the whole constituency, with its executive and grassroots activists follow the nominee. And where there are rules even in parliament that people following the nominee should not clap, they go there when the nominee gives an answer to a question, then they clap. And you will hear Bernard Ahiafo, the chairman of the vetting committee, always reminding them that here we don't clap, but we say yeah. So, as luckily for Ghana, or luckily for the John Mahama administration, there is something called Review the Constitution, which an 8-member committee has been put up. All these things should be addressed and ensure that, look, with the submission of people saying that we should call in the experts. For instance, you are going there as an energy minister, doesn't it? They should select people in that field, only that field. If you are a lawyer, what role do you play in energy? If you are a lawyer, what role do you play in agric? So, as the continuing review committee is about to start their work, we are suggesting as ordinary people, because the 1992 constitution that was given to us by Jerry Rawlings, we were told that it was given to us through as masons, tailors, tomato sellers, and all this. And so we are pleading with them, and since it is an NDC government led by John Mahama, they should make sure that the ordinary people's voice is infused into this new review that they want to do. You get me? But for the vetting and the way it goes, for me, since I started watching vetting, I watch it only when the minority leader is coming to ask questions. It is only the minority leader, always from back then, Harun Idrisu, Afenyo-Markin, and previous ones that has come and gone. They are the only people who seem to be asking critical questions. For me, I don't listen at all unless I hear that the minority leader is coming to speak or is coming to ask questions, because he will ask and ask. And there's one problem with Ghana. All of us, there's one problem with Ghanaians, or if not all of us, there's one problem with Ghanaians. Ghanaians are intolerant group of people. They like praise singing, they like worshiping their leaders. If you are asking questions, then they see you as an enemy, like you hate the person. When Bagby was there asking questions, NPP people think Bagby hate them. How the Idrisu was asking questions, they thought Harun Idrisu hate them. Now Afenyo-Markin is also asking questions, and NDC people think that he hates people. So Ghanaians are intolerant group of people. If you don't praise them, you don't sing, you don't worship them, you don't sing their praises, you are not sycophantic, then you are the bad person or you are the bad one. That is the problem of Ghanaians. They are intolerant. They are intolerant to views. They always want you to worship them. If you don't praise them, you are a bad person. So, Nana, I thank you very much for this platform. We will continue always making effort to call in the program to make sure that our views are heard. But the last thing I want to say is that I live at Katamanso, Alaba. We don't have water here. It's a situation where...
Oh, okay. I think the line dropped. You were the last caller. The time is basically run out. I'm sure those who are listening, you have to go and sort Kakito's water for him. Thank you so much for listening every Monday at this time. You know, we meet up, we jojo, we agree, we disagree, but you know what we do is so agreeably. And all thanks to the international producers. We have Anita, we have Oliver and Ziggy, who are behind the scenes working the ones and twos to make this happen. Thank you, guys. I am Ansah Kwao. Next Monday we'll be back. But hey, let me say happy birthday to you, Emilia, HR of Lancaster Hotel. This is from your sister, Hajia Muni of MTN. Emilia, happy birthday to you, HR of Lancaster Hotels. This is from your sister, Hajia Muni, MTN. She's wishing you God's blessings and much, much long life. Next Monday, God willing, we'll be back to do this all over again. Thanks for tuning in. Don't you even touch that dial. Kofi Hayford is up next to give you some real soul-searching songs.
8 o'clock.